but everybody came here and chose to hang out. I appreciate it. So, how's everybody? So, I'm in the studio, and this is going to be a fun one because I have a box that came in, and this box here came in from RoseCraft. They sent me 9 knives, and we're going to unbox these live tonight. So we have 9 of those. We'll get to that in a second. We'll let some more people get here. I know MPG EDC is still on. I know everybody's over there right now. So we'll let her come over. We'll let everybody come over when she's done. I know she's going to be on for a little bit more. But who is here? Hey, Brian White. What's going on, buddy? How you doing today? So I put up the Adventure 50 plaque over there somewhere. Back there. Yeah, right there. There it is. There it is. I've had that for a very long time and have never hung it before. So actually, that light might be a little bit too bright on it. But it is what it is. It's staying there for now. So it's got the Adventure 50 logo on the plaque. It's made from a real wood log. Somebody printed it up for me. Very cool. I'm glad you're having a good Sunday because I'm having a good day too. I slept most of the day. I don't know why, but today was a day where the wife and I, we went out shopping and we did grocery shopping this morning. We came home. The idea was, hey, we're going to watch the baseball game and then go out afterwards. Nope, that didn't happen for me. I slept. I literally slept till like almost 5 o'clock today, on and off. So it was one of those days where I was just dragging my butt, doing nothing. Hello there. I can't quite make out what your name is, but I appreciate you being here. It said something that I couldn't read, and then it said life. So that's hi. So I want to show you guys something really cool, though. This is a knife here. That is my wife's knife. This is a very, very old slip joint. This was her grandmother's knife. And I've been working on it. It's in great shape. Check this out. It's got an amazing walk and talk on it. And you're not going to really be able to see it. But there's a company information there. And this was made by a company called Hammer Brands, which was part of the New York Knife Company. This particular model, you can tell by the logo, which again you're not going to really be able to see, but there's the Arm and Hammer, and it says Hammer Brands, and then right next to it it says USA on it. They only added the USA from the years between 1945 and 1955. So if you just want to say it's right in the middle from 1950, then this knife is 75 years old. And it is in amazing shape. What I did tonight was I polished it up a little bit using some Flitz paste, kind of bring out that shine. For a 75-year-old knife, it is in great shape. There's really no pitting on it. The action is still really good. And I haven't even oiled this thing. So once I do that, it's going to be fantastic. But check it out. What I did do was heavily work on the blade today as far as sharpening it goes. And I got this thing really sharp. I was actually really, hey Neil, how you doing, buddy? I was really happy with how sharp this came out. I gave it the paper test. It cut stunningly well. I couldn't believe it. So there you go. Again, this was from, hi honey. Yep, showing off grandma's knife, which is your knife, part of your 2-knife collection. But again, 75-year-old knife. And the Hammer brand was known for making high quality knives at great prices back in the day. Again, this particular one was made somewhere between 1945 and 1955. Can't really put a year on it. You can put the date, the years on it because of the company marks on it. And it's got this faux ivory handle, which is really pretty, and like I said, it's a big slip joint knife. Bigger than most I have. Hey, Kelly. Welcome in. Hey, Ron. I saw you there. Didn't get to say hello yet. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I love this thing. Like I said, it's my wife's. It's part of her 2-knife collection. Maybe next week I'll show you her other knife. But man, I'm amazed at this, especially for the age. And like I said, it was made by the Hammer brand. Hammer brand was um, made by the New York Knife Company. New York Knife Company started in 1855 and went to basically around 1955 or so, or actually around 1945. Hello, Don and Chris L. Around 1945, they sold to Imperial. So this would have been made by Imperial. And at the time, Imperial was located in upstate New York. Actually, Schrade was located there. And eventually, Imperial got bought, the rights to the Imperial name got bought by Schrade. But fantastic bit of history there. Absolutely amazing. So, hope you guys like seeing something like that, because I really liked working on this tonight. Like I said, I was sitting there on the couch, sharpening it, and came out really well. But so we've got 10 people in here and 6 likes. I appreciate that. So getting back to, for the people who weren't here before, this box came in this week, and this came in from RoseCraft. Hey, Jim. I had been talking to Andy Armstrong, who is the owner and head designer for most of the RoseCraft knives. And we were talking back and forth, and you know, I'm part of the RoseCraft pass around group, and that we're passing around their traditional knives. So I'm one of those guys. I have already done 2 videos on their modern knives, and I really like their modern knives. So I reached out to Andy. I said, you know, your modern knives don't get enough credit. Everybody knows you for your traditional knives. I was like, how would you like to have me do a video on, your modern knives? And he just wrote back, I'll send you some. Didn't know how many. Well, he sent 9. He sent every one that's currently in production that's not discontinued. So I think it's awesome. I appreciate that. He's been really good to the channel. So thumbs up to Andy and RoseCraft. So let's start by opening this puppy up. We're going to use the little Microtech Auto Knife, or OTF. Open this puppy up. Perfect. Man, it's a little slicey blade. So let's see what we got. Okay. Yep, there's the list of everything they sent. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And let's dig in. All right, let's get that out of the way. Let's start with the first one. This is the RoseCraft Walleye. The RoseCraft Walleye. So let's open it up and see exactly what we got. Okay. So no pouch or anything. Basically, it is the knife inside this baggie. And hold on one second. I'm going to grab my tablet out. I want to bring up their website so we can just kind of look at, hey, Brown Sugar. So that way we could kind of look at what we have exactly. I can pull up the specs and we'll do it on the tablet. Dismiss. Okay. Okay. Just hang in there for a second. All right. Come on. You can do it. Okay. RoseCraft. RoseCraft. This should be popping up Oh, if I can spell RoseCraft. I should have had this all ready to go, but I didn't. Sorry, guys. Sorry about the awkward silence. Talk amongst yourselves while this loads. All right. And we want to go to the modern knives section. 10 years later. So, we have the walleye. And this one is, look at that. Hello, Agent Steel. I am glad you guys are here. So let's put that down. So this is the RoseCraft walleye. Really nice. Look at that. It has a flipper tab, thumb deployable as well. I want to say these are G10 handles. Let me open it up to get all the specs out. No. But deep carry clip on that. It is reversible. And look at the, I don't know if you can see it, but there's around the pivot, that pivot collar is a yellow gold color. Really nice little accent there. And you can kind of see the pattern in the G10. So this is an RPM 9 blade steel, and it comes in at 3.1 inches. And they're calling it a modified clip point. I could see that. Kind of resembles a Spyderco a little bit. You know, it's a liner lock. Wow. Okay, I know it's brand new. We just took it out of the box. That liner lock's a little stiff. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Might just be because of the first time. Wow, I was able to thumb deploy that with no problem. What do you guys think? And that, by the way, comes in at a price point of $59.99. So, decent blade steel, really nice handle, and deep carry clip, full 4-finger grip. So, Legion Steel, I don't know if it's Mercer or Marshall, but whoever. Love you guys. Glad you're here. So that's the first one. Again, that's the walleye. So let's see what else they sent. Like I said, we've got 9 knives to go through. So we're going to run through this. Cicero, what's up? We'll throw that one back in the box. What's nice about these is that we're going to use some of these for... Hey, Kevin, how are you? We're going to use some of these for giveaways at some point. Let's grab what's next in the box. So this one's just called the MA11. Let's bring that up on the screen on my tablet, and we'll figure out what that one is. The MA11. There we go. All right. Ooh, okay. This is a heavy knife. I can just feel the weight of this through the box. This is a heavy chunker of a knife. Oh. Wow, this is a big puppy. So they sent this one with a black handle. Let's bring this puppy up. Look at this guy right there. That's a big knife. So it's got a 3.2 inch RPM 9 blade. Has thumb studs and a flipper. Look at that. That is just a beast. G10 handles on that. It is a frame lock. So it's steel one side and G10 covered on the other side. Just a big knife on that. It's a Tanto blade, which I love. Everybody knows. Tanto and Warncliffs are my two favorite, followed by Drop Point. But those basically my three. But I love a great Tanto. And again, this is a big knife. Look at that. 4-finger grip. Comes out right past my pinky. So really nice there. And really nice ergonomics on this. And the clip is reversible, deep carry. I don't know if you can see that. The one thing RoseCraft doesn't do, which I wish they would, even though it's reversible, they don't give you a filler tab. I wish they did. But initial first impression, it feels really good. There is no jimping on top. I wish there was. But with the way it's kind of ramped down, your finger just kind of wants to rest there. So it's not too bad, you know. And you can definitely make your pinch cuts with that. So what do you guys think? That is the RoseCraft MA11. More of a, I want to say, kind of feels more of like a tactical style knife. You know, especially with the black, all blacked out finish. Oh, and by the way, 4-position carry clip. So tip up, tip down, righty or lefty. That is a huge plus, because as we know, so many people forget that lefties exist. RoseCraft does a good job with that, making this stuff reversible. But I love the fact this one is tip up and tip down. So not bad, not bad. Let's see how, I haven't tried to close yet. It's the frame lock. Yeah, it's new, you can tell. Thumb deployable really easily. I should say flipper deployable. The studs work great. That's how we flipped it open before. And okay, there you go. One-handed. Like I said, these are all brand new. They're coming out of the box first time, and you're here to see them. YouTube Music Portal. Hello there. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Very much appreciate that. So that's number 2 of what RoseCraft sent. I'm going to be doing this for a while, so hang in there. Hopefully you don't get bored. Next one up on the agenda is the Easton. I believe this is one of their newest ones. So let's grab that one. And yeah, pop that one up right here. This is another one that is in an RPM 9. Seeing how it's RPM 9, I wonder who the OEM is on this. I'll have to ask Andy. I wonder if it's CJRB. All right, so button lock. Or so yeah, CJRB. That's what I thought. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, that's very much my thinking on this. Front flipper on this. Front flipper button lock. Look at that G10. G10, but look at that red pivot collar. That is gorgeous. All right. Ooh, that front flipper works well. That is sweet. And look at that. Two-tone blade. Black PVD coated on top and satin finish on bottom. That's a nice touch. Yeah, this is just a sweet looking knife. And this one comes in, again, $59.99 on this. So it's at a really good price point. And it's got a very neutral grip. Really neutral grip on that. Again, no jimping. I don't know why no jimping. I love jimping on top. But it's very neutral. There is no choke up spot, really. There's a little bit of a sharpening choil. It's not really great. It's not bad either. You'll get a couple of sharpens out of this. And this was designed by Hawkins Rose, by the way. I don't know. Hello, Sheila. Welcome in. I don't know much about Hawkins Rose. I'm going to have to do some little more. This one is it's a hologram. It's a hologram. It's deceiving because they actually PVD coated right along the grind line. So, but it's a hollow grind. So it's got some size up top. You know, it gets really thin down here, so it'll be really slicey. And again, they're calling this a modified clip point, and I definitely see that. But yeah, this is really nice looking. Oh, let's look back for a second. Oh, and let's see. Oh, super fidgety with that button lock. Let's see something. That's a definite solid lock up on that. Hold on, watch. Yep, Definitely solid lock on that. All right. Let's look at the, by the way, I wanted to see the price. I forgot to tell you guys what the price was on the MA1. And the MA1 right now are on, the MA1 are on sale right now. They were $49.99, and currently on RoseCraft's site, the MA1 is $31.99. So that was the one we looked at prior to this. Excellent price points on these, folks. You know, and so far, everything I have handled from RoseCraft, whether it be the modern knives, whether it be the traditional knives, is fantastic. And I wouldn't have reached out to Andy if I didn't think so. So just, you know, people are going to say, well, they're sending you the knives. You have to say that. No, I don't have to say that. I'm saying it because it's true, but also too, I reached out to Andy about getting these modern knives because I've loved the two that I have. The first one I bought on my own when I didn't know anything about RoseCraft. I just happened to like it. That was the OG. It's discontinued now. They're still on the site. And you can get those for like $15.99. Maybe I'll grab that later. I don't know. It's in one of the cases. I don't know where exactly it is. But so I had bought that one. Then Raybo34, who I hope you guys all follow and subscribe to his channel. Raybo, we were talking back and forth on Instagram, and he knew I liked the RoseCraft. I commented on one of his videos about how much. And he reached out and said, hey, I'm going to send you one. And he sent me one, and I'll show you the one he sent because we got another one here in the box. So, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. He didn't need to do that. He did it, and I love the knife. And actually, it's become one of my regular carries. So, all right, let's move on to what we have next. Next one we have is called the Bowfin. So, this is a nice knife. I like this. I haven't opened it yet, but I've seen it on the website. So from initial reaction on the website, I like this one. And this one's a little bit bigger. Blade-wise, let's look at this one. Another button lock. Big chunk of button lock, front flipper, and thumb studs. Look at those green thumb studs. Yeah. Hey, Shay, welcome in. So let's flip that open. Look at that. Look at that knife. To quote Bees Blades, would you look at it? Just look at it. But no, really, this is excellent. Look at that drop point blade. Thing is huge. This thing is massive. I mean, look at that 4-finger grip, and I can choke up on that. So it's got a beautiful finger choil there, which makes you'll be able to sharpen this many times, many times. And look at those green thumb studs. That is, I know it's a little thing, but absolutely love that. And this one's designed by Chase Schneider. You've got his Maker's Mark S right there. RPM 9, again. Super fidgety because look, it's a button lock. I love fidgety button locks like that. And you've got this front flipper that works really well. What do you think? Oh, and by the way, this is this? It feels like micarta, but I don't think it is. I think it's D2. I mean, G10, sorry. Let's see. Oh, and I'm sorry. It is micarta. I was right the first time. Black micarta handles on that. And really feels great. Again, reversible deep carry clip. Well, mostly deep carry. You'll have a little bit sticking up right there. But man, I like that. And yep, very solid lockup. And the blade is perfectly centered. So, and the price on these currently, these are $69.99. So it's a little bit more money than the others, but it's a bigger blade. Micarta over G10. And man, do I like this. I might carry this tomorrow. But all right. So what do you guys think of that one? So we're through 4. So we're going to take a break from opening those up for a second. And I don't know if I told you guys last week, I'm now working with Workos. Workos sent me 2 flashlights this week, so there'll be a review video that I'm going to be filming tomorrow. That'll probably drop Tuesday on that, so look forward to that. Hey Barbie, glad you're here. So yeah, so the Workos flashlights video will be coming out. I'm doing another log and jotter and tactical pen unboxing video that will probably come out. And that's going to be a short video. It's probably going to be like maybe a 3 to 4 minute video, but I enjoy doing those. I'm not going to lie, I stole the idea from Big Red because Zach from Zach Stuff, I had won one of his giveaways and he had sent me a log and jotter notebook as part of the giveaway, and I really liked him, and then I subscribed without knowing, and then all of a sudden I noticed Big Red did the log and jotter reveal videos, and I had already had it in my head, but now I feel like I'm stealing his idea. But I talked to him about it. He's cool with it, so as long as he's cool with it, I'm cool with it. So, and I wouldn't have done it without asking him because I know that's one of his things. So I'm doing it a little different because I'm adding a pen to it. So whenever I do it, it's going to be a pen and a notebook. So I'm not sure when that's going to drop. I'm going to record that tomorrow as well. I've got a lot of stuff to record. You know, let me show you what I was carrying today. And then you guys tell me what you're carrying. So this is the Kaiser Gemini. This is what I've been carrying all day today. Has those beautiful carbon fiber handles, and these are that's real carbon fiber. That's not just a print, and you can feel it. You can actually see it if you look in. And man, this is a Ray Laconico design. I love everything Ray Laconico does. In fact, I pre-ordered his new knife from CJRB this week, and that's going to ship out supposedly the 30th. It's not out yet, but they're shipping on the 30th. It was a pre-order. So I ordered that, and I'm looking forward to it because I like everything Ray Laconico does. His knives have these simple lines, but they are really effective. And this one is fantastic. It's a Kaiser. I mean, you know, you guys know I'm a Kaiser fanboy. So, hey Rolf. So yeah, this is what I was carrying today. Again, it's the Kaiser Gemini. And it's a Ray Laconico design. Also, too, right now, it's a discontinued model, but you can get these on Amazon right now for $41. It's a steal of a deal on this. It's, I want to say, N690 blade steel, carbon fiber, real carbon fiber, and it's got that Kaiser quality. So for $41, you can't go wrong with these. Like I said, I need to get an Amazon affiliate link, by the way, because I'm always sending people there. But with that being said, the WeTrug and the SOG power pint. Well, just you happen to mention that, and there's my SOG power pint. I switch between this, my Leatherman, and the Byberry multi-tool that I like to carry. But I have different Leatherman. But yes, I absolutely love the power pint. I probably carry this more often than I do any other knife. I mean, any other multi-tool. Just because it's lightweight. Occasionally, I will carry the Gerber dime and a Gerber suspension. But probably 60% of the time, it's the power pint. So there's that. And then last but not least, I'm carrying the T-Kel Piranha. Love this. Hey, Robert Wilby. Love this for a small EDC fixed blade. And yes, they are pricey, but I absolutely love this knife. I've found myself carrying this more than any of the others I have lately. And I scout carry it, right there in the sheath, scout carry along the back. Although I was wearing a shirt, I went somewhere yesterday and I was wearing a shirt that really didn't cover it too well. So I wound up waist carrying it, and it worked pretty good like that. So that's not really the last of what I'm carrying. That would be a lie. I'm also carrying this little Rough Rider Red Fox. And I like this one. It's a small, excellent little slip joint. And that red micarta handle right there with the Red Fox is just gorgeous. So, did I miss who else? Did I miss anybody else's carry? Okay. Sage 5 Variety. Oh, wow. That must be awesome with the titanium scales on the Sage 5. Oh. With the tack knife Scully. Not bad. Not a bad carry at all. I like it. But yeah, the Rough Riders are really cool. I mean, inexpensive, built really well. And I know this is basically a RoseCraft kind of video tonight. So, Andy, I'm sorry, this isn't a RoseCraft. But yeah, there was a. By the way, I got some interesting stuff in this week that I'll have to show you guys on the next live stream, because there's more stuff coming. Did anybody take advantage of the post I had put up about traditional pocket knives sale the other day that they had? So in case you missed it, it was a 2-day sale that they were running. And what they were doing is if you bought any Finch knife, they were giving you a free QSP Mini Penguin Titanium, which is one of the premium knives. So it's the Mini Penguin with the titanium handles and the S35 VM blade steel. That knife sells for $120, and they were giving it away for free with the purchase of any Finch. And I had posted it on my on my YouTube. I was hoping somebody would see it and take advantage of it, because I did. I bought the Finch Halo, which is a knife that I've had on my list for a very long time, and I've been hemming and hawing. I'm like, I don't really want to spend the money on that. Not that it's expensive. It's really not. I mean, it was at one time, but they have them on sale right now for like $69, I think, $69, something like that. Really cheap, and or somewhere in that area, like between 60 and 70. I don't remember, but exactly. But when you factor in that they were giving you the QSP Mini, which is a $120 knife, everywhere you look for free, I was like, how could you beat that? So I wound up pulling the trigger on it. Hey Lou, what's up? What's up, Kathleen? So like I said, I had to pull the deal on that. I don't know. Did anybody else see that deal? I mean, they emailed me about it, because that's the one thing. I know some people hate getting email ads all the time, but I find that you get some really great deals from some of these companies if you're on the email list. And like I said, I couldn't pass it up. Traditional pocket knives, they ship that out on Friday, and it's going to be here tomorrow. So you guys will see that next week, which would be cool. But all right, who's ready to open up another RoseCraft? Let's see what we got. Let's see what's in the box. What's in the box? So this is RoseCraft number 5 out of the box. And this one, this is the one that Ray Bodie had sent me. This is the Tankerous. And this one is the Tankerous in white. So let's pull that out. So I have a long form video review of the Tankerous. This again has become one of my favorite knives that I carry a lot. And 210 Stacks, hello there, welcome aboard. So this is the Tankerous. This is another, what do we got here? Right, this is the liner lock. Look at that, G10 multicolored handle. You've got the white and the black. They are so smooth, you can't tell where they begin and where they start. They are 2 pieces, it looks like, or feels. No, you can't really feel it. But I'm pretty sure this is 2 pieces. but not 100% sure on that. And you've got that really nice silver thumb stud on there. And you've got deep carry clip that is reversible. Again, no filler tab. I wish RoseCraft would put a filler tab, but I understand why. They're probably trying to keep the cost down a little bit. And look at that. That thing just springs out of there. And this is an Andy Armstrong design. There's his maker's mark. And I really, like I said, I love this knife. This one is in my regular rotation, but in the red variation. That's the one that was sent to me by Ray Bodie. So his channel is Raybo34. Reach out to him. Give him a sub because he's got a really good channel. I like his stuff. And look at that. 3-inch RPM 9 blade steel. Again with the RPM 9, which I really like. The purple one is really cool. I was hoping that when this came in that would be the purple, but I kind of like the kind of stormtrooper look here, the black and white. But really excellent. Like I said, this is another. What I like is they are making full-size knives. They're not making knives for for children. These are adult-sized knives. Now, if you're in an area where you need 3 inches or below 3 inches, you're out of luck on this one. Because again, so far everyone we've taken out has been bigger than 3 inches. But front flipper. This one is new, so that's a little tight. But let's see. Let's see if I can get that. You know what? I'm not going to be able to because of the angle. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so the front flipper works. I know on mine I have, the one that I carry regularly, it's broken in really well. This is still brand new, so it's a little tight. Liner lock is really nice. Drop shutty with a control drop, but the thumb studs pop that right out of there. And it's just another attractive knife by them. And these are priced at a great price of $29.99. $30 for this guy. I mean, you can't beat that. I don't know, Lou. I don't know what the controversy was. RPM 9's been a very good steel. At least in my opinion, from everything, I've had a lot of knives with it because again, I like CJRB and I have a lot of their stuff. But really nice. Like I said, really, really nice. So again, that's the Tankerus. 3-inch blade, just a nice size knife. Oh, let's see. Yeah, it used to. You're right. It was $45, and now they are on sale. So, really good price. And this one, since I already have one, this one's going to go into a giveaway, an upcoming giveaway. It's not going to be given away tonight. We're getting close to another milestone on the channel, and when we hit that milestone, we are going to have a giveaway. And I think that's going to be one of the ones in the giveaway. So, for the people who just got here, I was showing everybody earlier this knife here. This is one of my wife's 2 knives in her collection. And this one is made by the Hammer brand, which was manufactured by the New York Knife Company. This particular model was made between 1945 and 1955. So if we just kind of stick that in the middle at 1950, because we have no way of really knowing the exact year on it, that would make this a 75-year-old. At minimum, it's 70 years old and possibly 80. But great walk and talk on this. For a knife that is that old, it's in great shape. I sharpened this up earlier. I was polishing it with the Flitz polish. So the condition of this for a knife that's at minimum 70 years old is just amazing. And it's a big size slip joint. Look at that. 4 fingers. Definitely an heirloom. Absolutely. But it was, like I said, I spent. Yeah, it does. It was very elegant looking, and it's got the faux ivory on there, which is really pretty. And I really like it. No half stop, but listen to that sound when you close it. I mean, that just sounds great. So, like I said, love this knife. Like I said, it's one of my wife's two knives. She's not a knife person, but that was her grandmother's, and she has it. And there was a knife I got her a couple years ago for Christmas. One of those ones that looks kind of like a leaf. It's made by an Italian company. I think it might even be, I don't know. I don't remember. It's an Italian knife. Kathleen, there's actually one of these available right now on eBay for like $29. And it was actually in, it looked like a little bit better shape than this one. This one's in great shape. So, what was that? No, she never carries a knife. Because of where she works, they're absolutely prohibited. So she uses it around the house. Her other knife is a locking knife. This one is not. Um, but yeah, no, where she works in her building, um, they have to go through metal detectors. So there's no, you're not bringing a knife in. Nice, Neil. That's excellent. But, and speaking of Imperial, what happened was when the New York Knife Company went out of business, they sold this brand name or the rights to this to Imperial, and then Imperial manufactured it. So actually, I said New York Knife Company, but actually, this one was made by Imperial. So, and what else do we have on the table here? So I told you guys that I had gotten this banter, the Wii banter, at the knife show I went to. And the only thing that was wrong with it was that the pivot was off centered. So it kind of had Wii going that way. I took it apart this week, cleaned it up, and man, I love this thing. And as you guys know, I am a sucker for anything uh, Ben Peterson designs. Again, he's got a design style. And if you like it, you like it. So, and this is the Wii. And I had picked this one up for $50, which was great because this was 120. These are sell for 120 bucks. So, and S35VN, just love this thing. What I'm doing though next is I'm going to order titanium scales for it. I figured why not? I have plenty of. I already have another banter. I have the black micarta with the Warncliffe blade. So I think I'm going to go with this one with the titanium handle and upgrade it. You know, well, the baby banter is really small. That's a definite fifth carry pocket knife. I have my baby banter that I don't know. It's here somewhere. I posted a video of it. I think last week or the week before I was carrying it. Um, what I really want to get though is the big banter. I don't have the big banter. It's the only banter I don't have. I have the the banter fixed blade. I've got I've got baby banter, obviously the banter. I need to get the big banter. So I may put that on my birthday list. So somebody who wants to buy it for me for my birthday. My birthday's coming up in June. So, but feel free. Just kidding. But I am going to put it on my Amazon wish list. Yeah. So that way my wife can maybe, maybe grab one for me. I don't know. Yeah, the baby banter fixies a fun little neck knife. I like it. I don't I don't wear neck knives as much as I do scout carry EDC knives, but I do periodically wear them. You know. All right. So we're 45 minutes into this. So who wants to see another RoseCraft? Very cool, Brian. How do you like the big banter? Because to me it looks like the perfect size. You know, this one is a good size. The baby banter is small, but it is just like Christmas in here. I was joking with, if you guys remember earlier in Bobby, I was joking with Rolf, and he was talking about the flashing lights, and I said, back off, man. Flashing lights. Wyoming Adventure Shield, we've all stabbed ourselves. I mean, I'm recovering with that little scab right here from when I cut myself shooting the Cold Steel video. So, yes, Lou, I fixed the sign specifically for you. First of all, I got rid of the recording sign and made it a live sign, and I reversed it so you could see it. So, because I remember you pointing that out to me. So, Lou, you have affected the channel. Oh. Yeah, Rolf, it's my thing. You know, the lights are my thing. All right, let's grab another RoseCraft that we have in the box. So, what do we have here? Very cool, Brian. That's what I was thinking. This one is the Tarracona. I am not familiar with this one. Let's see. I mean, I know I've probably seen it. Ah, there it is. Tarracona. Oh, so this is looks like a thinner knife. I'm even gonna have a ton of these. So this is the one with the orange trim, black with the orange trim. Perfect for everybody who has a Harley Davidson. Really nice accessory. Oh, there it goes. I just dropped it. So let's hold that puppy up. Look at that. So we got black G10 handles, orange pivot collar, thumb deployable, flipper, and look at that. It's another Andy Armstrong design. There's his maker's mark. Flicks out of there really nice. Another full-handled knife. Even though it's a thinner, slicier kind of blade. And again, this is RPM 9. It's which they're calling a clip point, and it is. Yep. Got that nice swedge on top. Really like that. Deep carry. Reversible. Reversible. Again, no filler tab here, but this one is not as pronounced. On some of the others, you could actually feel it in your hand. This one you can't. But I really like this. This is really sweet. More of a, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not necessarily a tactical knife, but it just has some really great lines to it. Yeah, I like swedges too. I mean, swedges are, you know, what's the swedge for? It's for piercing. I mean, when you have to pierce into things, that swedge is, you know, fantastic. Yeah, anodized pivot collars on both sides. And they may look orange. I mean, they look a little red on camera, but they are actually orange. So, but I like it. I like it a lot. And liner lock. Oh, very one-handed operationable. Or I don't know. One-handed operation. How about that? Thumb stud, flipper. Just a nice knife. So far, I am liking. Oh, and by the way, these were at one point $39.99. They're currently on sale for $29.99 through RoseCraft. So, thanks, Wyoming. You weren't here earlier, but I was very lucky. I was talking to Andy, the owner at RoseCraft, about the modern knives, and I had asked him if he had wanted me to do a video on, you know, if he wanted to collaborate on a video for one of the modern knives. And he said, yeah, I'll send you some. And then he sent me 9 of them. Every one that's currently in production, he sent along. So I was very pleased with that. Andy's a really great guy. And yeah, I've been working with them now between the pass along group and now these. And he's enjoying what I do, and I enjoy what they do, so it works out pretty well. And like I was telling everybody before, um, even though he sent these along, if I don't like it, I wouldn't say it. And I had already done 2 videos prior to ever hooking up with them. Yeah, I grabbed it out. It's probably, I was looking at the plunge grind on that, and it's not the best. But see, for me, the plunge grind isn't as important as it is to some people because I rotate my blade so much. There is really no plunge grind on that. I mean, you're going to get one sharpening, probably, maybe 2 before you get the smile right there. It's so close. But yeah, I think it'll be really good though, overall. You know. All right. So, since we have a bunch of new people in here, and I may have missed, possibly, what's everybody carrying? I know we've got some people who gave us what they were carrying, but yeah, 100% Cicero. I've been totally impressed. Like I said, I had bought the OG going back about a year and a half ago or so, and that's because everybody was talking up RoseCraft, and I really didn't know a lot about the company at that point. So I bought the OG, and it was the cheapest one they had. So, like I said, with that, it was the cheapest one they had at the time. It was, and still is. It's $15.99. You can get that one for. It's a D2, and that one's got a beautiful blade on it. And I wound up carrying that one and really liked it. You know, just a pew pew. I got you. I got you. The only thing about that is pew pew is not going to be able to open a package, at least safely. So, but yes. By the way, Sheila, I am glad you're doing better, and I'm glad you're in the chats. Kathleen, you know, I got to tell you, that's a little tough because I prefer modern knives over traditional knives to begin with. Um, you know, with that being said, so I'm going to say yes, but you know, in the last 6 months, I've been getting more and more into traditionals. You know, Big Red has brainwashed me. So, and I say that a lot. Big Red's a bad influence, which is why I put out that video called "Big Red is a Bad Influence." Yeah, he got me liking slip joints again in traditional knives. I had sworn off traditional knives. I just didn't like the fact that I didn't have knives with a locking system, which is kind of stupid on my part because, you know, growing up, I didn't have knives that locked. I had Swiss Army knives. I had, you know, traditional slip joints. That's what I had growing up. And then I guess I got spoiled when I got into locking knives, you know, modern knives. And I didn't really want to go back. But just there's something about the artistry and the beauty of the traditional knives that is just amazing to me. Yeah, exactly, sure. I did too. You know, especially Swiss Army knives. I mean, there's always a Swiss Army knife around me. You know, even if it's just an SD classic like this one, you know, there's always a Swiss Army knife. And this one has been a little upgraded. I love the clear blue scales. And then my accessories on this have been upgraded to green. So green toothpick, green tweezers, yes, yes, nice knife guys are persuasive. And then I put the green lanyard on it that isn't Victorinox, and I even put a glow bead on here that's green. So, you know, how to go with that whole blue and green combo. I just really love the way that looked. But there's always a Swiss Army knife in my pocket. And that one is the one I was carrying, though. The one I was carrying, which I always fail to show that. Oh no, I don't have my Swiss. The other one, I think I left it on the couch before. Oh well. All right. So we're almost an hour. This is flying by. I'm glad all of you are here. This is fun. You know, I love spending my Sunday nights with you guys / Monday mornings. And by the way, I, if you look at KnifeTube, the schedule, the calendar, I'm the last show on Sunday nights, and I'm also technically the first show on Mondays. So I am your Sunday Monday boy. I don't know. Seems to work out pretty cool. By the way, how many of you guys and girls are also watch people? Because I notice a lot of people in the EDC community are also watch people. And I know a bunch of guys in here, like myself, are guitar, knife aficionados, and motorcycles. So big time. Gotcha. That's big time knife guy, watch guy. That's actually a pretty good pun. Yeah, I like watches too. I'm I've been obsessed with watches since I was a kid, and I have a lot of them. But by the way, this is a great, not change up. This is just a fun little OTF by Tack Knives. I mean, action on this is amazing. It doesn't have any power. I actually can stop this with a sheet of paper from popping out, but it's just fun to fidget with. And it's a really good box opener. Nice, Kathleen. Excellent. Um, this is technically my music studio that we're in, but now it's the Adventure 50 video studio. So it's funny though, where I shoot my overhead views is different than where I shoot this now. Um, but so what kind? I mean, I'm into mostly analog watches. I have basically only two digital watches, and they're both Casio. And this one is kind of it's an analog and digital. This is a G-Shock. So harmonica. Yep, yep. My dad was an electrician, and I grew up doing electrical work with him, so I can relate. You know, Lou, if it's a Fender Japanese Strat, they're worth a fortune because there was a period of time. In fact, my number one Strat is a Japanese made Strat from the mid '90s, and those are worth a ton of money because at that point they were making better instruments in Japan than they were in the American factories. Nice. Like I said, I this is my G-Shock, so this one is kind of a cheat. It's an analog and digital, but I prefer mostly analog. And one of the reasons why is because when you're hiking, and if you know how, you can use your watch to find directions, which is really an important thing. For some reason, you lose your way, you break your compass, or, you know, you can always use your analog watch to help you find general directions. So it's one of the things I learned young as being a camper, and I prefer analog watches for that reason. But I have some automatics. I have some Seikos. Um, I love my Citizen Echo Drive field watch. That's one of my favorites. But I also have some really inexpensive watches that I like. Like I have a Casio Forester. It's like a $20 watch that my wife bought me, and I wear that just as much as I do my expensive watches. But hey, Mind of Milton, glad you're here, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The made in Japan models really did um, really did affect how the made in American models were because people were not buying the made in American models because of the price. when you get one of the Japanese models that was built better and was less money. So I have both, and I also have some Mexican models too. And the Mexican models, they're great players. You know, they may not have all the top of the line features that the American models do, but man, a good Mexican made Strat is fantastic. And if anybody knows the whole history with Fender and why they started producing in Mexico, I mean, literally, it's over the border by like, I think it's like an hour or so. And the quality, because they go back and forth, is fantastic. But so let's get back to knives. So what's the next RoseCraft we have? Let's pull this out of the box. We have another RoseCraft. Surprise, surprise. My base back here, this puppy, this one here is a Squire jazz bass, which I love. But I'm not a bassist, but I have two basses. Yeah, Jim, those are very good. Oh, I forgot to see what we have in the box. So, getting back to knives, this is the Joka. Not Joker, but Joka. Joka. And what color do we have? What color did they send? I think they sent red. Red? Yeah, it's red. I'm looking at the box to see what color it is. Meanwhile, I have it in my hand. So, and look at this one. This is more of a gentleman style knife, I would say. Very square and blocky. Flipper only. And let's check it out. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Another Andy Armstrong. And this one is, I think this one is a D2. No, I was wrong. RPM 9 again. 3.6 inches, so it's a long knife. And they're calling it a clip point, but yeah, I guess it is. I was thinking maybe reverse tanto, Japanese style, but they're still calling it a clip point. And I guess because of the swedging on top. But look at that. Again, they like to do these two color handles, which are very attractive in my opinion. Deep carry clip, again reversible. No filler tab there, but it's small. Big spot for a lanyard right there if you're a lanyard person, which I am. G10 backspacer right here. And oh, you've got the blue and black one. Nice. Nice. So, oh, very, you can operate that with one hand. That just closed really well. Look at that. Pops right out of there. Sounds great. Man, I would imagine this is really slicey. Hollow ground as well, which you can see. But I like it. There is no jimping on the flipper tab, but I don't think you need it because the way it's angled down, your finger's not going to slip off of that. So that's just really pretty. Again, I would say this is a gentleman's knife, you know, and it is a liner lock, obviously. You saw that. And what I like is, see the way that's cut out there? You can easily get to the liner lock to close it. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100% on that. You know, but again, this is the Joka. And this comes in at a $29 price point. These were $42.99, but they are on sale on the website. And they do make this in several colors. They make it in an olive green. They make it in a gray. I think those are the only two colors that they still have it in. But Although the gray kind of looks like a light blue, so I would say light blue, yeah. But really nice. Really, really nice. So we get to pack this back up. Man, if I didn't already have a big knife collection, I'd have an instant collection with this box. You know, Andy's awesome. Oh, look at that on the bottom of the box. I didn't see this. They sent, in the bottom of the box, there are some coffee candies. And you guys know me and my love of coffee, so that's awesome. And there's a nice sticker. Oh, that's a nice sticker. Not really, it doesn't really make sense with these because these are all modern, but that slip joint lovers club. Love that. Didn't realize there was stuff on the bottom under the knives. Let's see, anything else? Nope, that's about it. And, you know, lots of gel packs. So what do we have next? This is the Waya. W-A-Y-A, the Waya. And this looks like a nice piercing knife. This is in the green. So let's open this up. What I like is they sent a variety of the colors for me to check out. Ooh. This is another thin-handled knife. And the Waya, according to their website, means wolf. So 3.4 inch RPM 9. Look at that. The black and olive green with the black pivot collar, really sharp on that. You know, another clip point blade, nice size on that. Not as big as some of the others, but it's still a four finger grip for me. No jimping. Kind of tell Andy, I really wish there were more knives with jimping up here. I'm a person who likes my jimping, but really nice. Liner lock. These are coming in right now at $29.99 on the RoseCraft website. This one, okay, yep, this is a reversible clip as well. So they do a good job with that. They very inclusive of lefties. So she has a slender lass. Yep. Hollow point, I should say hollow ground. Really nice. I don't have P.O. Box, but if you just reach out to me on Instagram, I can, I'll get you set up if you want to send something my way. That wouldn't mind at all. As long as you don't give it out to the world, we'll be good. So, and again, it's adventure _50 on Instagram. Or you can even email adv50@gmail.com. But Instagram is probably the easiest way because I'm on Instagram every day because I post my daily carry videos on there. What do you think? I like this one as well. So far, there hasn't been one that I haven't liked. I prefer a bigger handle knife, not so much a gentleman's knife, even though I have gentleman's knives. But yeah, that would be great, Sheila. If you could do that, I would greatly appreciate that. So, but I do like the look of that blade, man. That is really sweet. Again, it's another Andy Armstrong design. The thing about Andy is he, besides running the company, he's the chief designer for most of their knives, even though they have knives by other designers as well, including Swags has a model that is discontinued now. But if you like her CJRB Malaya and the large Malaya, they have a model that she designed that's very similar. And I wouldn't even call it a copy because she designed it. She designed both of them. And she has a design style. But I didn't get one of those. So, and that's because they're discontinued now. So it didn't make sense for him to send those out. There's no reason for me to, kind of promote those. Thanks, Sheila. I appreciate that. So far, we have opened up 8 of them. We're down to the last one, the very last RoseCraft. So we're going to hold off on that for a second. What I'm going to do, though, while we're waiting, I'm going to put some of these back into the box. Big box of knives. That's because if we don't put them back in the box, I'll have knives sitting everywhere. I mean, right there on the couch. That's on the other side of the studio. I'm looking at like 10 knives just sitting on the couch over there. So I was a busy boy. I'll clear this off. Put this under the table here. I don't feel cramped in. I had that big box in front of me. It just kind of felt cramped in. Thank you, Rolf. I appreciate that. We got 26 people here, 22 likes, 23 likes now. It's going up. It's going up. So, let's see. You guys know that I'm pretty sure I showed it off last week. By the way, I don't remember the timeline when stuff comes in and whatnot, so I don't know if I had showed you this last week, but this was the Demco AD20. The 8020.5. Really like this thing, man. I love that shark's foot blade, as they call it, with your shark lock. So you remember like 3 weeks ago I had a clone? Well, it's actually safety orange, Sheila. I know on camera it looks red. The oranges for some reason wash out and look red, but just to give you a comparison, that one on top is red. And they look very similar, even though in real life, they don't. Let's just see. Let's get some more light on that. So, I don't know if you can see better. It's very orange. I think because of the lighting I'm using, it's making it look red. But man, this thing is ultra fidgety as well. And what a quality knife. I mean, jimping the way I love jimping on top. And full 4 fingers, which is great. Yes, it does get the short edge of the stick, and that shark lock is just super fidgety fun, and shark lock, man, rock solid, really rock solid. Yeah, they call this one a shark's foot, which we all know it's really a sheep's foot, but because, it's a shark lock knife, they call it a shark's foot. They do make this in a clip point, and I wasn't sure which one to get when I ordered this, but I actually got this from Blade Ops because they had a scratch and dent sale, and this was one of their demo models, and it was dirt cheap. Really big discount on that. Yeah, well, I like I said, I wasn't sure which one I wanted, but when I saw the price of this one, I couldn't pass it up. It was in their scratch and dent, and in fact, Blade Ops has a whole section of scratch and dent, and most of the models there are models that were opened and in their display cases. So, but 100%, man, you can't beat this. And it's an AUS 10, so it's a very decent steel. It's not the SV35 version, but the SV35 version jumps up ridiculous in price. And AUS 10 is a good steel, much better than AUS 8. Just fantastic. I really like this. And they do include 2 different clips, so that way, because of the shape of it, you can't really just flip that clip, but they do include both. So, yeah, and I'm glad you're here, Sheila. We missed you the last few weeks. So there's that. And then, of course, there was The Beef by Flightanium. And this is just a big chunker of a knife that I really like. Like I said, I like big knives, and I cannot lie. Lou, you're really hard on steels. There's nothing wrong with AUS 8. I mean, it's not a super steel, but AUS 8's a quality steel. Let's face it, for years, we used that steel and we loved it because it was the super steel of its day. But you know, D2, OS 8, they're just basic steels, you know. But OS 8, good corrosion resistance, does not have the blade retention, you know. But where D2 has the blade retention but doesn't have corrosion resistance. But like I said, you know, I always say I'm not a steel snob anyway. I know what works for me and what doesn't. And like I've told a million people before, if I gave you a knife and blindfolded you and you got to make cuts, you wouldn't know what steel it was anyway. As long as it was sharp and the edge geometry was right, you'd be able to cut with it. Now, sharpening and keeping an edge, that's a whole different ballgame, you know. But a well maintained, well sharpened knife is going to work. I don't care what steel it is. So that's why I'm not as much of a steel snob as some people. Do I like better steels, SV35N? Yeah, absolutely. MagnaCut is still my favorite steel. Um, I have a bunch of blades in MagnaCut. But this is just a fun knife, man. It's big. It's got great lines on it. It's comfortable. Um, that clip, though, is not my favorite shape because I do feel that in my hand. So I get that. But, you know, here in the Northeast, especially New Jersey, New York, it gets really humid in the summer. And I've never had a problem with a knife corroding. Just take care of it. Well, wipe your knives down. That's what I do. You know, keep them oiled. You know, a little bit of blade oil goes far in you know, fighting the corrosion. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't live in, you know, in a ridiculously humid environment. You know, I'm not in a rainforest. But New York and New Jersey are known to get very humid in the summer, which is why it's miserable to be here in the summer. But that's a whole different argument for a different time because I don't like the heat. So I'm not a heat fan. Summer is my least favorite season. Give me spring and fall every day of the week, you know, and I'd be very happy. And if I had to choose, I would choose winter over summer because I could always throw multiple layers of clothing on. I can only get so naked before the cops come and arrest me. You know, it's just the way it is. But so what else do we have around here? Oh, I got this. Let's see. Hold on there. Speaking of gentlemen's knives, I know you guys saw this when I first got it, but I also carried this little slip joint around a lot lately because I kind of like it. This is definitely a gentleman's knife. So this is the Walther MPK. Well, the summer streams are going to be very interesting for me because I'm going to be in an air-conditioned room enjoying it. So that is the Walther MPK. MPK stands for Modern Pocket Knife. You know Walther, very famously known for the PPK, preferred gun of James Bond. So this is their gentleman's knife. And I really love this thing. I learned about this, you know, from Knife Center. And yeah, it does have really nice jimping on top. And the jimping runs all the way down on that. Runs right to about there. So, and it's not aggressive, but man, does it feel good. No, there will be no nude summer streams. So, and not because I'm shy, because I could care less, but I don't want to traumatize any of you folks. But yeah, I like this. This is just a fun, like I said, gentleman's knife. It's non-locking, but it does have, actually, they call this a collar lock. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's a slip joint. It does have a lot more retention than some other slip joints. You know, you're welcome, Lou. But yeah, this is just a fun one. All right, so we're down to knife number 9 from RoseCraft. Let's get back to that. And this one is the Kafara. The Kafara. I did not see that one on here. Let's look. Oh, let's find the Kafara. Kafara. Is it down further on the list? Okay. Why am I not finding that on the website? It's here somewhere. Uh-oh. Lou Nightbot got you. All right. This is the Kafara. Let's see what this one looks like. Maybe if I see it out of the package, I'll find it on the website visually as opposed to reading, because words is hard. If anybody watches the GHS channel, you'll know words is hard. Ah, there's the Kafara. Okay, this is the very subdued one. All right. And we got this one up. This is the Kafara, thumb stud deployable with a flipper tab and 4-position pocket clip. Look at that. You can see right there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it has a deep carry clip. And this one's a D2. So for those folks who don't like the RPM 9, this is a D2. And stone wash finish, Tanto. Comes in at 3.4 inches. And look at that. Really nice handles here. Black micarta have a really nice feel to them. Got a spot for your lanyard right there. And just really nice. Nice swedge too on top of that. Look at that. Hollow grind. Tanto. That is a nice knife. Now they make this in 2 colorways. They make it just like this with your silver around the pivot with a silver stud. They also make that with a red and with a red stud. So let's bring that one on the screen real quick. So mind you, I'm just going to hold up my tablet. But see, they make it that way as well with the red highlights. So, but like I said, I guess Andy wanted to send me a cross section of all their different colorways. But that's a nice looking knife. And that's going to handle really nice as well. Again, no jimping. No jimping. I need my jimping. But especially, you know, if Bees was here and he had jimping, he'd go with all that jimping, you know. No, those are red. Those are red on the other one. They're definitely red, not orange. But what do you think? I like this one a lot. Again, Tanto fan that I am. You know, this would have been great if they had this in a black PVD coated. And it's unfortunately only available in the Stonewash. But man, I like that. I like the feel of that. Kind of really cool. Hey, you got to respect Bees, man. That guy, I can't believe on Friday nights he goes 4 hours, gets a ton of people watching, and he's fun. Him and his wife do a good job, man. They make me laugh sometimes. They have, you know, they're just fun, especially hanging out with the puppies, you know. But gotta love Bees. Bees, G-Ball, love all of them. So many channels I watch. Barbie. Hi, Barbie. You know, but look at it. Would you just look at it? Yep, absolutely. So, when I started this channel, Bees was very kind to me and let me plug the channel a lot, which really helped, uh, get subscribers. You know, Bees is fun. He is fast paced. That guy, he has a lot of energy, man. Even his videos, like I wish I had more of a exciting voice. I don't have the exciting voice that he has, Um, but yeah, I wish I did. I find him and G Ball, not I'm sorry, not G Ball, him and Metal Complex, and Jared have the most exciting voices. Like even if you didn't see what they were showing, their voices just sound great for doing this thing. They come with an excitement level that I wish I could match that. Um, but I can only be me, I find I to me I feel more energetic in the lives than I do on camera, like when I'm filming, you know. Yes, probably. Yeah, Greg was he was out there last night, but I love G Ball. He's another one. He's always let me promote. I mean, he let me promote last night. So thanks, Sheila. I appreciate that. You know, but there's so many channels that were influential on me when I first started this. You know, and I know Lou. I know you're not a fan of how she presents things, but Melissa Backwoods is a lot of fun. I love when she. Hey, Louie. It's a D2. It's a D2, Louie. I love the fact that she goes out there and she stabs the ballistics, the ballistics, what do you want to call it? Dummy. Yes, the ballistics dummy. And I've actually looked into getting a ballistics dummy. They look like so much fun to mess around with. You know, you can just stab those things, slash those things, and get all your aggressions out and test knives and other stuff. You know, yep. The first time I remember seeing ballistics dummies was on MythBusters. They used so many ballistic dummies on there, and then also too on Forged in Fire. When they were doing all the different weapons tests. With Doug Marcotta, it will kill. And you know, if you guys ever want to follow somebody who just is amazing with the way he can manipulate a knife, go watch Doug Marcotta's Instagram videos. Man, now we know he's a master of Kali martial arts, and he can handle just about any kind of blade and make it look amazing. The guy's just awesome. He'd be a guy who's very deadly in real life, you know, but that's what he does. But so yeah, she cut right into her leg on that live stream, you know. Yeah, I get it, Lou. But I'll be honest, if I had that type of anatomy, I would take advantage of it too. You know, use what God gave you, is what I say. You know, they, I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know she was on Naked and Afraid till later on. Why did I stop to watch her videos? Because I was going scrolling through and saw this really attractive girl playing with knives. Who doesn't love an attractive girl playing with knives? Come on, you know. I had to stop, and then I started to really like her content. You know, I don't think she's very over the top serious either. Like she presents things in a fun way, and I think that's kind of cool. I really would love to be able to be at Blade Show to get my hands on her new knife. And yes, on her new knife, not her. But um, it's very similar to the size wise to the Piranha, but with a Tanto blade and with the loop at the end, which you can buy those scales. They're the same scales for hers that it is for the Piranha. I found that out. Taylor Martin was talking. I actually asked it in one of his live streams what he thought of it, and he said basically it's just a variation of the Piranha with the loop scales, and you can get those scales for this, which I'm considering. But I never actually watched the show Naked and Afraid. I just read that she was on there. So um, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. Not that I have a problem with it, because some of it's a lot of fun. But I just never, for some reason, never watched that show. Too married to comment. Oh boy. But yeah, but there are a lot of fun channels out there. What are some of the channels you guys watch that we don't necessarily talk about because we're not in, like most of us here, we watch the same channels. We're always in the lives together. We always say hello to each other. But there are some others um, that I watch that don't necessarily do live streams, or if they do, they're a little bit on the outside of what we watch. Like I love Marine X, love his channel. Um, one of the ones. Rolf wants to know what shirt I'm wearing. This is just a shirt with skulls on it. It's not a band or anything. It's got skulls and tribal patterns. I actually have had this shirt for like 10 years. Um, it's just kind of a cool shirt. In my ghost hunting days, I wore a lot of shirts like this. Um, you know, I believe this was one I might have picked up at Walmart at some point, you know. But thanks, Sheila. You know, I'm a big sucker for anything with skulls. I love skulls. But yes, absolutely. Stasa Neves. In fact, speaking of Neves, he had his um the whatnot auction over the weekend, and I bought one. I bought a knife from him. I bought a Monterey Bay knife. So yeah, I love Neves. And in fact, Neves, I will tell you one thing. He is a guy who actually answers his Facebook. Like if you message him on Facebook, he'll talk to you. He's really down to earth kind of guy, and I've been very appreciative of that. Um, I actually like people like that who respond. I respect their channels even more because he's got a lot of subscribers. The fact that he'll take the time to good night, Neil. He'll take the time to answer you, which is fantastic. Not everybody does, you know, but I absolutely when you get personal responses, it makes me care about them more. You know, Greg's that way. G Ball, he's that way. He'll answer. Bees, Bees takes a little bit of time, but he will. You know, um, yeah. El Navarro EDC, he's a good guy. I do like we had a nice little actually on my newest RoseCraft video that came out yesterday. We had a nice little conversation back and forth. So, oh, wait, what would you say? Yeah, absolutely. You know, they both had their things to deal with. You know, Jared's been very open about it, especially lately. You know, Jared. By the way, Jared did a really good interview with Taylor Martin last week that I enjoyed. He got Taylor to open up about a lot of stuff. And now I've never tried to contact Taylor. I don't know if he's, you know, I don't know if he's responsive or not. He seems like a nice enough guy. Everybody I know who's met him thinks he's pretty cool, but I haven't met him and I haven't really reached out. I haven't really had a reason to. Um, but yeah, he's another channel I watch. I know he's not for everybody because some people will knock the fact that he loves his expensive gear, and but he still promotes less expensive gear. But for his own carry, everything he carries is premium. He never carries anything mid range to low range. So that is one thing that I almost feel like that's a little bit of a flex, but that's just me. Oh yeah, he yes he is absolutely. And what I love is, I mean, he's a single dad with kids who still manages to run a great channel. And yeah, he's very good. I like him a lot. Problem is, a lot of these guys are on all at the same time. So you can't watch everybody. But I do try to. I watch his videos more than I do his lives. But I have caught some of his lives. But yeah, he's got a really good channel too. You know. Yep. Yeah. No. Great channel, and he does some cool giveaways too. But and he's a guy that he gets a lot of knives on the channel. I don't think he's being supplied half those knives. From what I understand and from what he says, I think he buys all of them. So I don't know if it's one of those things where he buys them and then sells them later, so that way he could fund other knives. I really don't know how he's doing it, but yeah, definitely, he's a real dude. He's absolutely a real dude. You know, and real ass people, in my opinion, are great people. I'd rather not have somebody who's fake and phony up there. You know, just be you. I mean, I try to be me. I mean, I'm you know, kids college fun. Oh, oh. Speaking of which, so we're building up the hours to get monetized, and like I was saying, I was coming up with something I can do for to acknowledge members. I was saying, what about a lightsaber? So what do you think? We could go that way. We could go that way, or we have another way we can go. Hold, please. We could go with a phaser from Star Trek Next Generation, because yeah, I'm that geek. Right, it wasn't working last time because I did like I just did now. I left it in the on position and never turned the switch off, and I killed the batteries. So while I'm thinking of it, I'll turn it off. So yeah, so there was that. But I can go that route too. If we want to do total science fiction, we could just go phaser. But I thought that would be too much like what Big Red does. I mean, Big Red has that big laser gun thing that he uses. So I don't know. I could do that. I could do a phaser from Star Trek, the original series. Oh, Kevin, please don't do that to me. I listen. I like Next Generation, but I'm a Kirk guy. So yes, this is Next Gen, and then over here, let's see if I can get to it. Over here, over here we have original series phaser. This one needs batteries. Otherwise, I would activate this one. But yes, original series, next gen. And yes, I'm a geek sometimes. You know, I had a friend who, we were a group of nerds, except my one friend said, "Well, you're the cool nerd out of the group." I'm like, "What makes me the cool nerd?" They're like, "Well, you play guitar, you ride motorcycles." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but that's just another form of being a nerd. It's just a different type of nerdum, you know." We will agree to disagree on that, Lou. TOS is the best Star Trek, and I'm a guy who loves his Star Trek. I can, yeah. I have not watched Strange New Worlds. As far as I'm concerned, Star Trek ended after the original series. No, just kidding. But no, I haven't watched it. I've watched every series basically up until the ones that started running on Peacock or the Discovery Channel, not Discovery, but whichever one they were on. I forget at this point. CBS or Paramount Plus, whichever one it is at this point. I have not watched any of those. So, well, you could kind of get what you're saying. I kind of get what you're saying about it. It's woke, but realistically, so is the original series. I mean, the cast of the original series was picked to have diversity. You had an African American female as an officer. You had a Japanese person at the helm, and we're talking about in the 60s, you know, just about 20 years after World War II. You had a Russian weapons officer who, this is at the height of the Cold War. You had an alien, you know, you had someone who was Scottish. It was a literal League of Nations. Right, I agree. I get that, but you know, there's nothing wrong with having diversity. I'm just, you know, as much as I sometimes lean right, I don't have a problem with diversity. I really don't, you know, but that's a whole conversation for another time. I in a lot of cases, I will say I'm an ally. So some people know what that means. I don't care about anybody's sexual preference, race, or anything, or religious, or, you know, I just don't care. People are good people. It doesn't matter. Let people just be happy. And that's the way I look at it. Yeah, I know. I got to get. My problem is, I think this one uses double A's, and I think I'm fresh out of double A's. I think I used the last of them in the lightsaber. So, yeah, it's double A's. I don't have any more double A's available at the moment, but I should. Wait, that may not be true. Hold on. No, in fact, I have to do something with this because these batteries corroded because I left them in there too long. So I will have to clean up the terminals and get batteries in that. So we're not playing with this phaser tonight, but we will. So what are we? We're at 100 minutes. All right, so we got like 17 minutes. That is true. I could pull them out of flashlights. You know, you know what? Let's do that because God knows I have enough flashlights around. Hang tight. Talk amongst yourselves. Entertain yourselves. Tell jokes. Laugh. Cry. All right. All right. We're getting close. We're back. We're almost back. All right. Yes, we will take these. Thank you, Olight, for letting me steal these out of here. By the way, that's another thing. As EDC folks, and we all are, I have a love of watches, knives, any type of camping gear, and flashlights. Can't have enough flashlights. All right, the corrosion's on that one terminal. So, let's do this. We'll take this puppy and clean the corrosion off. So, All right, I think that'll do it. Wait, what was that? Yes, that was strategically put there. So, by the way, these mics are fantastic. I got these off of Amazon because when I switched from my old iPhone 13 to the iPhone 16 Pro, all my old microphones had a lightning connector, and I wanted one. Well, this set actually does both. It has two mics. It has the attachment that attaches right to the phone. It shows me when they're active, which the other one did not. So it's great. As soon as this connects, it lights up on the phone, and just fantastic mics. I mean, they sound great, and the sound quality of my videos has been much better as well because of it. So these things are great, by the way. These are USB-C rechargeable AA batteries. So, oh, Sheila, I have to send you a photo of my setup. All right. Let's see. Is this thing going to work? Because this thing's tricky to begin with. Okay. I may have to play with this. Wait a second. Why isn't this working? All right, folks, this is annoying me because those batteries are good batteries. I just cleaned the terminal. This one has been beaten around a lot. So let's see if it's something I'm doing amiss. Yeah, they're going the right way. This one's always had problems with the trigger mechanism. It doesn't always connect, even when you're pressing it. So let's see. You know what? Let's see something. Yep, they can only go one way. In here, that one, and the other one. Yep, they're in there correctly. I think it's a problem with the switch. I may have to take it apart and work on the switch. So. Oh my God, yeah. I had, in fact, I have a fluorescent lantern in with my camping stuff that I just don't use anymore. Why? Because it takes 6D batteries. 6D batteries. Come on now. Yeah, something's not right with this one. So I'm going to have to work on the switch, take this apart. So I am sure there's something wrong with the connection on the switch. So, and just to verify that, let's put the batteries back in the flashlight. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The weight on those things as well. You know, the other thing too is like, you know, I have my mag light that uses three AA batteries, right? And it's not as bright as some of the rechargeable O lights that I have. Not even half as bright. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, here. Look at this giant puppy. This flashlight's amazing. It's ridiculously bright, but it uses a shit ton of batteries. And I mean, this thing, they claim this thing has like a 2 mile, over a 1 mile range, but man. Oh, that would be really cool. Modifying that to have a laser in it? Absolutely. I'd sign up for that tomorrow. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to do that. Yeah, one of my geeky type things is playing with electronics. Yeah, so the batteries are good on this. So it's definitely the switch on the phaser. By the way, what these are good for is adjusting people's attitudes. So just saying, you know. But see, one of my favorite books is this book of projects. It's right here. And it teaches you how to build your own laser, your own phaser, your own ion ray gun, and other working space age projects. This is the kind of stuff I used to be into, building different crap with all these different schematics. You know, um, you can actually build a pocket pane field generator. Fun stuff. And if you know how to read schematics, you can build this kind of stuff. It's all fun. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. And then it's just hilarious. Good night, Kevin. Glad you stopped by. I appreciate it. But yeah, this thing's great. You can build all kinds of fun stuff with this book. You know, you can build a pulse visible simulated laser, a visible red continuous laser gun, an invisible infrared pulsar laser rifle, a high power pulsed red ruby laser gun, a high power continuous IR CO2 laser, just a whole bunch of stuff, ultrasonics. So it's an older book, but man, this book is worth its weight in gold if you want to take on some fun projects. You know, I don't even know if this book's still available. It's a pretty old book at this point. Yeah, the double mag light, like I said, it's keep one of those in your car, you know, for security. But so this book is really on the old side. This was printed in 1983. So a lot of this is probably, I bet some of the parts that they even specify you probably can't get anymore. But it was a very cool book in its time, especially as a teenager building fun kind of stuff, you know. But yeah, what are we at? Oh, we're almost at 2 hours. So at 2 hours, we're gonna shut down and say goodnight. But I do appreciate everybody being here. And we've had a really good crowd tonight. I love it. That's true, Lou. But if you want, I'll send you the book. You know, but that way you can read it and then see what happens with that. Oh, by the way, does anybody watch Casey and Knives Fast? He's another guy I like. He's another good guy. Obviously, Zach stuff. Yes, exactly. A punk whacker. I like that term. I might have to use that. A punk whacker. Very good. Well, Casey's a good guy. He's another one who will answer your questions and respond. You know, and he's a really stupidly busy guy. I mean, the channel between his full time gig, you know. Hello, Dane. By the way, if anybody is not subscribed to the channel, I would love if you did, because we are so close to 1,200 subscribers. And at the pace we're going, we'll probably hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of July, if I can keep up the pace and keep putting out videos like I do. And if we get to 1,500, that's going to be a big celebration. So, yeah, Casey does have a great channel. And Casey, he's another one. He's fun. He's very enthusiastic about it too. They're just some people, man. They just, the tone of their voice, the inflection, man, they are so exciting. You know? Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. You know? Just so everybody knows, for the people who are new and aren't here all the time, I try to put out 5 to 6 daily pocket shorts each week. You know, I like I said, 5 to 6 of those. I try to put out 2 long form videos and then do a live on Sunday nights. And if some people can't make it, To their live, I'll sometimes jump in. Like last weekend, Big Red EDC wasn't going to be on, and Zach wasn't going to be in his place, so I jumped on, did his spot. Um, I wanted to do Zach's 3 o'clock spot today, but like I said earlier today, earlier in the stream, I fell asleep and I slept most of the day today. I don't know if it was because I had an exhausting week last week and everything just caught up to me, or what it was, but I slept most of the day today, on and off. So, oh, and that's another thing. I'm a retro gamer. Um, I have just about every gaming system that's ever been. I started out as a kid with an Atari 2600 and then had the Intellivision, the ColecoVision. I had, what else did I have? Obviously, the various PlayStations, Xboxes, um, all, all in 3DO. I had so many different game systems, you know. No, nobody misses lifting those TVs. Um, but yeah, so that's another thing. I noticed a lot of nice people are gamers too. I'm talking about retro gamers, not necessarily PC gamers. Although I do play PC games as well. You know, not gonna lie, for a long time, World of Warcraft. Nice. Yep, I had 3DO. I was very lucky. I was very lucky from time I was a kid. My dad was a gadget, very gadget, electronics oriented person. So I, at a young age, I had computers. I had when I was like, I don't know, 12 years old. No, yeah, probably. Because I was like 12 years old, I had a Commodore VIC 20 as my first computer. Um, so like I said, I was very lucky in that aspect. I've been around computers, and I'm a gadget guy because of my dad, because he was a gadget guy. So, you know, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I mean, even some of my earliest guitar equipment, my dad made for me. You know, he I have a fuzz pedal that my dad built. He got a plan out of popular electronics, and he built a went down to Radio Shack. For those old enough of us to know Radio Shack, he went to Radio Shack, got all the components, all the resistors and all that good stuff, and he built a fuzz pedal for me. And I still have that fuzz pedal. It sounds great, you know. But yes, Nightbot. I apologize, guys. I keep saying I need to go into Nightbot, but during the week I forget all about it. I need to really go in there. Yes, a Tandy company. Now, do you know Radio Shack still kind of exists? The storefronts don't, but you can still order. They still have a online presence where you can order everything. But there are few scattered around the country. There are still some Radio Shacks left. We have one here in New Jersey that's about a 30-minute ride for me. Um, and it still looks like an old school Radio Shack. And the reason why that one survived is because it's part of another electronics business. But so yeah, there are some Radio Shacks still around. I miss going to Radio Shack because I used to love tinkering with electronics and getting, when I was a kid, they had those do-it-yourself electronics kits that taught you how to work with electronics and how to work with the soldering iron and all that good stuff. You know, um, yeah. So that's kind of I miss those. I miss those days because now if you need any of those parts, you just order them off Amazon, or some of the other electronic supply companies. They'll send it right to your door. You don't have to go in. But I miss going into like a physical brick and mortar Radio Shack. So periodically, I'll go to the one that still exists here in New Jersey. Just kind of a nostalgia thing. But so we have now hit the 2 hour mark. I'm going to wrap up here, and I really do appreciate you spending your Sunday night / Monday morning with me. As always, I love you guys. Great community. And I'm really happy for what the community did for Blade Walker this week. I mean, everybody came together. I know I was promoting him, on obviously here. I promoted him on Facebook. I promoted him on Instagram, and so did everybody else. I was so glad the community came together. I really, really appreciated that. And the person who led it, who actually kind of talked to me about it, was Gareth. Gareth HB. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, we want to get Blade Walker," and then I jumped right in, and I know everybody else did, and so Gareth, thank you. I know you're not here, but if you watch this back or however we work it, oh, we definitely have to go because one of my lights just died. So it's probably using rechargeable lights. So yeah, absolutely. Shout out definitely to Blade Walker. Hey, leveling up. I didn't even realize you were here. I'm sorry if I missed you earlier, not saying hello. But yeah, um, you know, keep Steve in your thoughts. You know, seems like a really nice guy from every interaction I've had with him, and I'm really happy that he got over the 1,000 mark. And with the way he's going, the way people are catching on, it'll be just a short time to, oh, there goes the other light. So I'm now sitting in the dark, mostly. So, all right. All right, everybody. With that, since my lights are now officially dead and I'm living off of some blue lights here and obviously my lights behind me, you folks have a great night. I will see you all in the lives. I'm sure I'll see most of you tomorrow in Rob's Nerdy Knives. But all right, have a great night. Definitely appreciate you being here. Love you all. Thank you.